I'd also like to pay my respects to Auntie Violet. Thank you for the welcome, and pay my respects to all the other elders, past and present, here on Ngunnawal country. I'm going to talk about housing security and climate. As an independent, I really see my role as getting in there and actually representing Canberrans on issues that are important to us, and spending a bit of time talking to people in Canberra. Housing is a burning issue, and I think at every level now it's touching people. The Anglicare report that came out today was sobering, to say the least. You know, this is a crisis, and finally we're hearing some talk, but it's obviously going to take a real concerted effort, and the government actually putting their money, or our money, where their mouth is on this issue to get good outcomes for our community. The things that I will really push for, I think the Housing Minister should be elevated to Cabinet. This is a crisis across Australia. We desperately need a national housing strategy. We also need better, more transparent data on housing supply and demand, and to also review the rate of Commonwealth rental assistance. I suggest we look at a sovereign wealth fund to invest in social housing. I think from figures I've seen, it's 290 billion over the next 20 years at a minimum. So this is not a problem that's going away. And there's been some really good modelling done by the Grattan Institute, and their model is slightly different to Labor's, but I think quite similar. And they're saying that this would deliver at least 100,000 homes over the next 20 years, which we may need a few more, but I think these are the sorts of ideas we need to actually start talking about and getting on with. And then I think we also need to be really backing local initiatives like Homeground, and ensuring that in the short term we're incentivising people to provide more affordable rentals in the Canberra market, given how much of a crisis it is. That's three. Went quick. The other thing I think is we need to look more at the build-to-rent sector, and do a bit more work in that area. But thank you.
Thank you.
One of the ones that really stuck out for me was how having a system that isn't well funded enough, well resourced enough to focus on early intervention has such compounding effects, and whether that's mental health, housing, women's health, NDIS, all of these things with better resourcing and more focus on early intervention would have huge flow-on effects for our communities. Some really interesting stuff around climate and how that's actually affecting housing supply. A lot of people from the South Coast moving to Canberra after the fires. We discussed childcare and some of the Nordic models that are actually having really good results for parents and children, and why we aren't moving in that direction. A good discussion about women's health and how little we talk about it in politics, and how our budget overwhelmingly favours men, what can be done there culturally and also in terms of our budget priorities. And we also talked about multiculturalism and how we really value that, and don't allow politicians to use that for fear-mongering and electioneering, and actually kind of create the communities and society that we want. So thank you all so much. I really enjoyed that, and I'm sure I'll see you around at some point. Thanks.